Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Wander to the Edge. My name is Adam Asher from The Edge of Adventure.
I'm Zan. I'm from Where Gals Wander. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning. Happy Saturday. Great to make it to another weekend. Great to have this opportunity to share some time with our friends from around the world. We like to use the tagline. What do we like to say, Zan?
We like to say friends talking travel.
Right. And that is to remind us that we're friends, Zan. We're friends.
And I was going to ask you, how does it feel, Adam, to get to spend every Saturday morning with me? Just bantering.
Look, I mean, it's one of my favorite times of the week. And it's another opportunity. Every week I have the opportunity to try to tell you what to do. And so far, it's not working from all as best we can tell. But I enjoy spending time with you and with all of our great guests. And I know we have a remarkable guest, great traveler, great spirit, just a bubbly energy. And we look forward to getting to know her today.
So today you also have the honor of having Krista Muscarella join us. We're going to talk a little bit about national parks, about camping, about the work that she's done out here in LA, and maybe even squeeze in a fun football fact or two. So,
yes, I'm wondering if she's happy with the recent performance from her favorite football team. We'll get to the bottom of that and everything else today or right here on
Wander to the Edge. What did you do?
I am playing the intro and it is not playing. Stand by, please.
Wow.
We made it through the intro. It's the best part of the show, except of course the part where we get to meet Krista Muscarella, our guest today.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
So we got to get to know you. Got to get to know you today, and part of that we'll be learning a little bit just about who you are and your past and all that good stuff, and your passion for travel and how you got into it, and what makes you such an interesting traveler, which you are. So again, we welcome you, Krista, to the program, and great to have a Saturday afternoon chat here on the East Coast.
Absolutely.
Zan, hit her with the first question. That's your job.
Okay, then. So I was excited to see. I had no idea that you were based out here in Los Angeles, out by me. I had no idea.
Yes. So I grew up in Buffalo, New York. Did my schooling here, and then in between undergrad and grad school, I moved out to Los Angeles for a year just to do like a gap year program with AmeriCorps. And in that year time, I was a little bit homesick, so I moved back to Buffalo for grad school, had a winter, and told myself I need to get back out to the sun and finish grad school and took another road trip, and now I am back in LA. I've been back out here 5 years now. So yes, West Coast, best coast.
Absolutely. It's the best coast.
Okay, come on. Do we have to have a best? I mean, your beaches are better out there. That I'll have to give you.
Yeah.
The beaches here in Atlanta are a lot of pine trees.
Listen, you win on traffic,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Krista, the concept behind your travel platform, and as you talk here, I'm going to pull up your website, let people take a look at it. I've got some pictures queued up as well. But your vision and your take on travel is what?
Oh boy. So I am a planner, and COVID pandemic times have been incredibly difficult for me for many reasons, but the inability to plan has definitely been one of them. But Gosh, I just, while I'm a planner, I also am maybe spontaneous in where I go, or like I plan and I get a whole bunch of different options and then just go for it and see how much I can get done. But with that being said, like I want to do as much as I can while really like experiencing where I am. So I think that's why it's definitely go, go, go whenever I do travel, because I just want to take in as much as I can. Who knows if or when I'll be able to get back somewhere. And I always, ever since I was much younger, it is always an adventure. So, yeah.
So, Krista, first, I just want to say, like, when COVID is over, I really want to hang out with you. There's a number of reasons why. One, you're in LA. Two, because you actually, with your education background, I saw, I was a sociology major. So
Okay.
I love to talk sociology with people. I know that sounds really weird, but if you studied sociology, you will get it. And then three, just this concept of planning and adventure. I've talked about it on the show before. Like, I'll plan a trip just to like relax. Like, even if I can't go, it's just the idea of putting together this thought and this exploration to go out and be adventurous. So I think we should like grab coffee and sit down and just plan fake trips and then actually see if we go on them or not.
Hey, I am all for it. And I tell my friends, I love planning trips, and of course I love being on the trip, but planning is half the fun for me. And I like to like plan their trips. I'm like, oh, here's some ideas. Oh, you're going here? Like, make sure you do this. So yeah, let's do it.
We're looking at some beautiful photography and pictures of some of the places that you've been, and you've been to many places, but one that probably sticks out as one of your favorites, one that you highly recommend. What would that be?
Ooh, this is a tough question. One I probably should have been anticipating, but a trip that I took pre-COVID, one of the last big trips I was able to take was to Alaska. And I'm a big, big national park person or fan. And so I planned a trip to Alaska to visit all 8 national parks up there. So Denali, Wrangell St. Elias. I was able to go to Lake Clark and Katmai. And I also did Gates of the Arctic and Kobuk Valley. And I mean, just that trip, I don't know if I hit all 8 in that, but I went to all 8. It was amazing, absolutely fantastic. And one of the reasons why it was so special was because my dad recently retired a couple of years ago now, and he has said all the while, I want to go on a trip with you. You go all these cool places. I want to go. So when he retired, I said, okay, Dad, well, I have just a trip for you. And we were able to go to Alaska together, and it was just amazing, parks, family, Alaska. I mean, so that was definitely a favorite of mine.
I have 2 questions. One, what was the highlight of your Alaska trip? And then I want to talk a little bit more about the national parks.
Okay. So highlight of the Alaska trip, probably Katmai National Park, and just, you see those iconic photos of the bears perched up on the waterfall, catching the salmon in their mouth. Like, I was there and I was able to see it, and it was just as incredible in person as the pictures are, if not more. And I also just love bears, even though they're, it's kind of scary also. So Katmai, amazing. And just to have the opportunity to go there, I feel very fortunate. So yeah. And there was a 2-part to that.
There was.
Second
Okay,
part,
well,
I
you
don't
know
remember.
what? We don't have time for the second part. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. You please pardon the interruption.
I was just saying, so you mentioned you were a national parks fan, and I know that you've been to a lot of national parks. So how many have you been to, and which ones haven't you been to?
Sure. Okay. So this is, I've been to 50 I am focusing on the designated national parks, of which there are 63. So I've been to 50 of them, just hit 50 on a recent road trip. I hit Indiana Dunes National Park, which is actually the newest designated national park. So that was exciting. However, the 13 that I haven't been to are some of the actually most popular or most visited parks that everyone just kind of probably assumes that I've been to. Great Smoky, Glacier, North Cascades up in Washington, Mount Rainier I haven't been to, and I'm also sort of saving Kings Canyon in my backyard here. I've technically visited because I did Mount Whitney. It's technically within the park boundaries, but like I have to go to the visitor center. So yeah, I also haven't been to Shenandoah, Congaree. Some of the ones that are much more accessible, I actually haven't visited yet.
Do you have oh, I'm sorry. See, I told you I was so excited to speak with you. I'm not even
Listen,
letting
I don't know.
I'm
just gonna, enjoy my tea.
Well, I was actually going to ask, have you gone to the Channel Islands? And apparently you have. So there you go.
Yes.
So, Krista, is it my turn to ask a question? I think.
Yeah, you can ask
to
me
ask a question
2
now?
or 3.
So, looking kind of getting to know you, your website, your platform, and everything, I know that there was a point at which you really got into the camping and or the backpacking in particular. Walk us through that. I mean, that was I think probably a point in your life that changed things for the better.
Yeah, for sure. So growing up, my dad always took my brother and I like car camping, and that has always been like in my life, and I've it's my cat Bentley.
That's Bentley, everybody, ladies and gentlemen.
He might make actual appearance, but that's Bentley. I love him so much.
She can't even concentrate. Bentley's on the screen. She can't even concentrate. She's lost her.
He's adorable.
So, okay, growing up, like I would do hiking and camping with my dad and my brother. But when I moved back to Buffalo after doing that gap year, I was like on Instagram and just seeing all of the amazing, cool places, such as this actually, on Instagram in California. And so when I moved back after grad school, I wanted to go to all of these amazing places that I was seeing on Instagram, but I hadn't really ever backpacked. I just did car camping with my family. So I was also doing some longer hikes solo that I, probably shouldn't have really been doing solo. So I was at REI one day, and I always like look at the bulletin board outside the bathrooms because I'm weird. And I was about to walk away, and one of the REI employees was like, "Oh, did you see the brochure for WTC or the Wilderness Travel Course?" And I was like, "No, actually, I didn't. I missed that one." So he had actually done this course through the Sierra Club and was telling me all about it. And it was basically kind of like an introduction, beginner, intermediate backpacking course. And so I like immediately enrolled in that to start. I want to say that was maybe like November, and it started the following January. So I moved, back to California in July, was doing these hikes, and then the very following January, I was like fully immersed in like the Sierra Club and getting out there. And so I went through the course and learned so many skills. Like I'm so thankful that I took that course, and now I'm actually on staff and also help like lead it for the students now. But that really just changed really like everything. Like I was just, I don't know, I had the skills, and I had, I've met a lot of people that I could now go and do these more longer random things with, and just like confidence as well to just go out and travel. So yeah.
So how do you, when you talk about backpacking, before I moved out here to LA and I was in Chicago, I always thought as backpacking is, okay, I'm going on a hike and I'm bringing a backpack.
Yeah.
Kind of take us through, like, why take a course about it? What is it that's important to know?
Oh, wow. Just so much. Where to begin? So yes, to going on a day hike and having your, backpack with just some essentials is good. And Bentley is making a live appearance. Sorry. um, but just there's a lot that goes into backpacking. I mean, when I say backpacking, I mean I have a backpack filled with things with the intention of spending the night in the wilderness somewhere. So I am now carrying a sleeping bag, a tent or some sort of shelter, food, maybe a stove to cook the food. This picture is actually after I took the course, I came back to Buffalo, for a summer break or something, and I took my dad on a backpacking trip. It was only like 10 miles, but we camped out one night, and that was, like he had taken me camping all my life, so I wanted to now show him backpacking. But it's just very important not only to have the equipment to safely spend the night out in the wilderness, but also the navigational skills to not get lost, and just staying found and being prepared is essential. Even just down to like what you're wearing, not only like footwear, sure, but even your clothing, layering up, having the appropriate layers, in the event there is some kind of emergency, you want to stay warm. And yeah, just so much goes into it. And that's why I wanted to take the course, to give my parents some peace of mind, but also like feel good myself.
Krista, you mentioned your slogan. It's on your website. In the business, we would call it a tagline, and it is always an adventure. That's significant to you for some reason. Tell us why.
Well, it's always an adventure stemmed from growing up. My parents are divorced, and I've mentioned a couple of times that my dad would take my brother and I on these camping trips, which inevitably turned out to be an adventure of some sort. And so when we would return to my mom's house, we just had this saying, like, it's always an adventure when we go with dad. And that has definitely continued as I travel, solo or with friends. Just something might go wrong, or you're doing something that is maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone, and like it's always an adventure. So
Well, and I'll do my follow-up, not really a question, but my commentary here. It's not the first time, is it, Zan, that we have someone say that, yeah, I would go out with my dad somewhere and it would, be an adventure, or something would go wrong and we'd always figure it out. So it's, I don't know if that's like a dad thing.
Yeah, when we had Honeys of the Rockies.
Okay,
Uh,
that's,
and
yeah,
they
you're
talked
right.
about how, I think it was Val's
I did,
dad
yeah,
would
it
take
was
them on these hiking excursions, and
Mhm.
they had no idea if they would survive.
right.
And in this case, Krista, it's kind of the opposite, that you're taking your parents on an adventure and keeping them safe,
Yeah.
So,
Ugh.
yeah.
I'm trying. I mean, this stems like, even I think my mom, like when I was super, super young, like, I mean, very small child. I don't know if my mom went to the store, or she went somewhere, and my dad was supposed to be watching me, and apparently he couldn't find me, and he asked my brother, who's only 3 years older than me, like, oh, where's your sister? And he was like, well, I don't know, watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, having no intention of knowing where I am. And lo and behold, I'm stuck between like the storm door and the screen door. That's how small I was. And so it's my dad, like, always an adventure, even within our own house. Yeah.
Are you happy with your football team?
Oh my goodness, am I happy with my football team? Yes, I am currently, after years of maybe being less than thrilled with their performance, I could not be more happy to be a Buffalo Bills fan. So, go Bills, proud member of the Bills Mafia.
Well, listen, you deserve it. I would be proud too. I can only imagine what it would be like to have a sports team that has a good year.
Uh-oh.
But we'll
Listen, it's
come
been
back
a
to
long
that.
time coming. You'll have your time.
So, um, I was making a joke and something happened to Zan. So, we Zan,
I'm sorry. We're having a little bit of an adventure here at my house right now. There's a bobcat in my backyard, and Molly, my dog, is going insane. So
can you see the bobcat?
I can see it. I'm
Grab your
looking at it
phone.
right now.
Grab
Yeah,
your
can
phone.
we
Go
see
get.
the
Can you get some footage of it?
I can try
Well, why don't you try? So
because I don't
let's
really
cut to
want to
the
go
phone.
like
Let's see if we can
out
cut.
there too close.
No, what I wouldn't go out there and try to pet it. It's not like it's Bentley or anything.
Yeah, well, I'll be okay.
All right, well,
All right.
you go do that. We'll talk about Bentley while
Oh,
hopefully she's
good.
gonna get
Good.
some footage there. And hey, it's just temporary. She's gonna go see if she can track down a bobcat, which doesn't happen every week. It certainly doesn't happen every week on Wander to the Edge. So hold on, she's back. Hold on, everybody. Let's see here.
It's like up in my tree, so I'm not going to be able to you won't be able to see it on the phone, but it's
This is a
like
big deal.
we.
But
This
you're
is
sure
like
it's a
the third
bobcat. You're sure it's
time.
not like
This is
what happened today where Bentley walked across the screen. It's not that kind of a cat, is it?
no. It's a bobcat. It's big. Like at first, when I first saw it, I didn't know if it was a mountain lion or a bobcat because we get both of those. Like my neighbors have had mountain lions in their backyard before. And sorry, just and
I would say if
bobcats, they don't have a tail. They have just, no tail. And then mountain lions have the long tail, but there's no tail on this one. Hi. This is my nature
what are
show.
we doing? What even is
Right.
this?
And fun fact, Bentley doesn't have a tail.
Really?
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All we need now is for you two to start talking sociology. I'll just skip out.
Oh.
Yeah. What is there to talk about in sociology with you two? What would you talk? Don't get us lost in the weeds. But what would you talk about?
I love to talk about the fact that, let's say with COVID, right? And everybody's working from home right now. How is that going to change the idea of what an office looks like and what the norms of working look like now? Like, how is that going to shape the whole concept of, having an office space and the way that we interact? That would be one example.
Krista, your thoughts?
Oh, yes. I mean, fascinating thought for sure. And so I was a sociology and psychology double major, and I work for Los Angeles Unified School District currently as a school psychologist. So not only how COVID is affecting us as a society, which would be more sociology, but taking it a little bit more narrow with just how it's affecting kids in particular, and just their social skills and how important it is to be physically together, and how we have a lot of work to do when things settle down a bit with this whole pandemic situation.
So tell us about Cuba.
Oh, Cuba.
I'm doing that on purpose. I'm just jumping around it's
I love how we always say it's just friends talking travel.
right. It's
then
just
we get on here and Adam just starts throwing these
I
questions.
can't help
at
it, guys.
people.
I can't help it. But it's all I'm doing it on purpose too. It's like a theme for today. It's sort of the interview version of Whiplash. I mean, you're just
Yeah, I know.
doing it. But I as a guy who I've not been to Cuba, and I hope to go. And of course, it's not been the most accessible country, but tell me what your impression was of Cuba, because that's a question I want to know the answer to.
Okay, well, hopefully I can help with that. Cuba, I mean, I wanted to go for the reason you just said. It wasn't terribly accessible. So I was looking for places to go over either Thanksgiving break or winter break. And, those times of year, like the airfare will just skyrocket. So I wasn't really willing to go somewhere that, had like insane airfare. And actually Cuba was pretty reasonable. So, and it was a little bit easier to get there at the time that I was going. I don't know. I think it was President Obama had, opened it up a bit for us. So I also wanted to challenge myself in getting the visa and seeing if I could actually do it. So all of that came to fruition, and I went. And my impression is, if you're going to be going to Cuba, like go for more than 4 to 5 days, which is what I did. And I had no idea just how much there was to do and what an amazing island filled with so much history. It really is. And it was just, one of the takeaways for me was, there was just like really beautiful areas. And then right next to it were just like decrepit areas. And it was just really eye-opening, and I don't know like for the right word to describe it, but I guess eye-opening. A beautiful country. I'd love to go back and stay for a longer period of time. You have beaches and mountains and just beauty throughout, and the people were very, very nice. The Cubans, very nice people.
I just want to see what kind of bizarre question Adam comes up with next.
Okay. All right. Don't challenge me.
Oh, it's a challenge.
Okay.
Throw it down.
All right. Krista, once a nerd, always a nerd. Please explain.
Okay. Did I put that on my question?
Go. She did it. Don't blame me. Zan did that.
I mean, I wholeheartedly consider myself a nerd, and I'm very proud of it. And I love to read. I am an introvert, and I love being by myself. I don't know if those are all nerdy qualities, but definitely consider myself a nerd, and I hope to always be one.
You're welcome, Zan.
Well, I'm all of those things too. So now I'm also a nerd.
I mean, that means I'm in great company.
That's true. See? It's just yet another reason that Adam should not even be here, and it just should be you and I talking.
True. Travel nerds unite.
Woo.
That's our theme for today. It's one of our themes. The other theme is when
Cats?
good cats go bad.
Yeah.
So Bentley is a good cat, but in the picture that we showed, we had Bentley on the show a few minutes ago. It was a still, or if it was a video, he was very still, and he was in like a I don't know, he was in like a jersey of some sort. He looked a little bit angry. Was it halftime? I'm curious.
He was in a vehicle.
Okay, but you gave us some context. Give us some context. That picture, I don't know. I'll find it here.
He, maybe doesn't like to be dressed up as much as I like to dress him up. But he was wearing his Buffalo Bills jersey. I don't know if he knows it, but he's also a big Buffalo Bills fan. And also, cats don't particularly like cars in general. So the fact that he was dressed up in a car, he might have looked a little mad, but deep down he loved it. It was perfect.
Yes, Krista, I can tell that deep down he loved it. I can see that on his face.
Mm-hmm.
He's loving every minute of it.
Absolutely. Yep. He was actually, we were going to my brother's house so we could all watch the game together with his cat as well.
Why the long pause?
What do you pause? I got nothing. I have no response.
Okay. Zan, do you have a question? I got one more. I got another question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I did my research here. You went to Spain, right?
I went to Spain a while ago now. I went to Spain when I was in high school. Yes, I was
Hey,
a brief exchange student. Well, it was a brief program.
if this were an old school radio show, we would be hearing whatever it is that Bentley is doing in the background.
Yes.
Listen to him. Listen, everybody. Listen.
No, he's not. He wanted to get out of the room. That's all.
Okay.
He probably wanted to get back to his food bowl.
Okay. He was wanting to get back and watch more television.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was Bentley scratching the door to get out. Zan, you got up and you left. Was the Bobcat scratching the door to get in?
No, but I do have a Bobcat update, a real-time Bobcat update. So the sprinklers went off in the backyard, which freaked the Bobcat out and ran out of the tree, causing Molly again to go ballistic. So
Molly's inside, I hope.
yes, she is.
Okay. So Molly, the dog,
Yes.
is world's best dog, from what I hear, is sort of the Bobcat detector.
Yes. And raccoon detector, possum detector. Luckily, so far, we have not had a snake encounter. So all fun things up here in my neighborhood. She was with me when we saw a tarantula for the first time. So
I can get that coffee with you, but I think we might have to not be in your neighborhood when we get
fair enough.
Krista brings up a very good point here.
Yeah.
I don't do snakes. No.
Yeah.
No.
I don't either. And it's rattlesnake sneezing. And again, I see all my neighbors posting what they find in the garage and the backyard. And I don't like to go outside during this time of the year, even like to get my sunsets that I typically do, for Sunday sunsets and such. Yeah, I'm not out there very long until this season passes.
Mm-hmm.
Today's episode is being brought to you by Bentley, Happy Cat. Is your cat not happy? Try the Jersey. Take him for a ride in the car. Maybe dump him in the bathtub. Things that cats love.
Yeah.
Yes. If those don't work, I would recommend getting the affection back. Just a few treats always does the trick.
Okay. This is good. We have learned.
Oh, Krista, I just appreciate you putting up with us today.
Especially putting up with Zan.
It's fun.
Okay, so but to circle back to the question, just because something happened, I forget if it was the Bobcat or Bentley or both. But so you did years back, or a while back anyway. You did the Spain trip. Did you also go to Portugal?
Yes.
Okay. And I did some research there. Do you speak a little Spanish, Portuguese? That I don't remember.
Well, I like to pretend I speak a little bit of Spanish. I took Spanish in high school and a little bit in college. And so, if I go to, say, Costa Rica or something, I can have conversational abilities, but not fluent. Unlike I saw recently, someone on here can speak 3.5 languages.
Wow. You've been watching Twitter. Yes, I think I responded very recently to some kind of a question that Zan had posed. But yes, I love languages. Not trying to talk about me, but I was gonna see if the two languages.
You totally asked the question about speaking Spanish because you love speaking Spanish. We all know where this was going, Adam.
No, I do. But I find it interesting, and also the since the last year or so, I've been working on Portuguese and have that's an interesting journey just because there's so much similarity in the two languages and yet so much that is different. So I was going to ask you about that. But so when you go to Costa Rica, you probably say things like "pura vida."
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Well, we'll tell Zan about that later because, she's more interested in sociology than she is in language.
Can you say sociology in Spanish?
No.
I think it's like sociology or something.
That's good. You get it. You win, Chris. Okay, Zan, you better ask a question here because I know you have questions too, and I've got a couple more, but I don't feel like asking them yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess one other thing that I wanted to learn a little bit more about is just some of the different volunteer work that you've done. You made a brief mention of it, but if you could maybe just tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. So I volunteer primarily with the Sierra Club, the Untitled Chapter. I work with both the 20s and 30s section and the Wilderness Travel Course. And I mean, I was able to get out and explore so many different areas because of the skills that I learned through these different sections with the Sierra Club. And honestly, I really just want to give back and give other people the same opportunity. So whether it's, my dad or those participants in the Sierra Club, I will lead outings from day hikes to overnight camping trips with the 20s and 30s section. And then with the Wilderness Travel Course, I am on staff and work as an instructor in that 10-week course. So we will do 10 weeks of classroom instruction, and then sprinkled throughout is 4 outings. So one is a very long day hike. Then we will spend an overnight or weekend in Joshua Tree doing some rock scrambling and navigational skills. And then the third outing is a pretty long all-day hike in snow. And then the culminating weekend that you either look forward to or don't is a weekend in the Sierras, and we call that snow camp. We go backpacking for 2 nights in the Sierras to kind of put everything together. And even though if you aren't so much looking forward to it, I really genuinely think that by the end of the weekend, you had a wonderful experience as long as you stayed warm. So I just love giving back. I've always volunteered from high school until now. I don't know, like.
My next question is babies in buckets. What's the deal?
Listen, it's always an adventure. Like, I wasn't kidding around. This is the camping trip my mom was on. My dad says, I'm going to take the kids and we're going to go looking for crayfish or crawfish, however you say it. And, apparently, I guess my dad and my brother, we went to the creek and they might have been flipping rocks over. They didn't find anything, but they went back to the campsite carrying me in a bucket and said, like, look, we found a critter. And it was me in the bucket.
Oh,
That's pretty awesome, Krista. I mean, we can sense the love that your family has for each other, and it goes back for your whole life there. I mean, if you're getting carried around in a bucket, somebody loves you.
Something like that.
Oh, Adam, one day we have to have Brandon on just to have him tell stories about what it was like growing up with you as his dad.
Yeah.
I'm going to insist on that.
Yes.
I'm not sure that he or I would sign the waiver for that. But yes, I don't know. There's something about being a dad. There is oftentimes it's an adventure. I mean, it's an adventure being the dad. Like you raising a child is an adventure, and But look, I mean, I think your dad and your mom and your dad did such a fantastic job. You're an awesome person, but also, right? It says so much that you're telling these stories, and the love you have for them just comes out, and that really is. I mean, that's, I think, in large part the mark of successful parenthood. If you you raise a son or a daughter that loves you and loves to spend time with you, and is your friend as well as your relative. I think that's just a pretty cool thing. So it was what I always wanted to do, was just make sure that Brandon liked me. I mean, that's what I did. I spent my entire parenthood like making sure he liked me. And they say that's exactly how you should parent. Not.
Yep.
You gotta walk the line. Use that dad card when you have to. Well, Krista, you are quite the world traveler. You've also been to China. Is that right?
Yeah, and just a quick story about my trip to China. So, something that my parents always told me is like, the worst they can say is no. And I was working in grad school. I went to the university at Buffalo, and I was like taking classes through the School of Education, but I was working as a graduate assistant in the School of Management. And the program that I was working for, like the students were not really your traditional age college students. They were like executives in the Western New York area. And as part of their program, they had a 2-week or like 10-day residency over in China. And I asked I was doing their visas and taking their passport information and doing all this stuff so they could go on the program or go on the international residency trip. And my second year working there, I was doing it all again. And I just was like, I want to go, like, this is so cool. I know that they had such a good time last year. Like, I want to go. So I asked my boss, I said something, I was so nervous, but I said something like, have you ever taken a student assistant on the trip with you? And she was like, no, why? And I said, well, I could go and help, So that's how I was able to go to China. Like, I asked, and I knew the worst she could say is no, you're crazy. But she's eventually like, I was able to go. So it was amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you have just been so much fun. And thanks so much just for joining us today and sharing these incredible photos too. Your photography is just amazing.
Mhm.
And want to invite everyone to go and check you out on your different social media platforms. I believe that you have your own website, KristaMuscarella.com.
Yep, just a little blog I have. Yeah, but that'd be great. Yeah, go check it out. And yeah, I mean, just thank you guys so much for having me. I have to give a shout out to Tom, who told me all about Wander to the Edge, and I was able to watch him on it, and I've come back many weeks now. So yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, Tom Thrash.
Well,
Shout
Krista,
out to you.
yeah, you're an awesome traveler, awesome person. Thanks to Tom for making the connection. And we've had a great time today. We've kind of just joked around, and I hope that's what the show is. It's meant to be fun and friends talking travel. It's great to now count you as a friend. Again, you're a pretty awesome person, and to hear that love that you have for your family is pretty inspiring element or piece of today's conversation. So thanks for that. Have a wonderful Saturday. We'll let everybody get back to their weekends, and just appreciate you and everybody out there that makes up this Wander to the Edge travel tribe.
Yeah. And again, shout out to Tom for letting you learn a little bit more about us, and love to meet you in person after we've connected on Twitter. You can find both Wander to the Edge and Krista on Twitter. Look for both of our handles. We are pretty easy. We're Wander to the Edge. And Krista, your Twitter handle is?
It should just be K_ my last name, Muscarella.
Yep. So go out, find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Getting closer on that YouTube. We're just a couple folks away. And then make sure that you join us every Saturday.
Right here on Wander to the Edge. Krista, God bless you. Thank you.
You too.
We'll see everybody next time.
Thank you so much.
Take care.